Hey everybody, welcome back to All Fiction is Fantasy. Daniel here. I hope you're doing well, and if you're not, I hope you are soon. Okay, so what do you get when you combine a beast epic like Charlotte's Web or Book of the Dun Cow with the Cthulhu mythos and an anachronistic cast of characters like Jack the Ripper, Dr. Frankenstein, Count Dracula, a mad monk, and Sherlock Holmes? You get Roger Zelazny's A Night in the Lonesome October, originally published in 1993. So like a lot of people do and continue to do and have done, I joined in the tradition of reading a chapter a night for the last month, during the last month of October. The book has 31 chapters, 31 nights in October. It's a perfect kind of tradition read, and it's one that I am looking forward to partaking in again. But I don't know if I'll do it every year. I don't think it'll be a yearly thing, but it is something that I will revisit at some point in my life. So Lonesome October is told from the point of view of a dog named Snuff, who happens to be Jack the Ripper's companion slash pet slash familiar. And Snuff is joined by other animals, such as his best friend, a cat named Greymalk, along with a rat named Bubo. Oh man, that's such a great name for a rat, Bubo. I love it. A bat named Needle, a squirrel named Cheater, and an owl by the name of Nightwind, amongst others. Each of these animals and their human companions are part of some kind of ancient ritual, some kind of clandestine kind of secret society, something that they call the game. And in the game, there are two competing factions. There are two competing sides. We have the openers and the closers. And part of the book's plot really is trying to determine, Snuff is trying to determine who's an opener, who's a closer, who has made alliances with each other, who is working for whom, and also who the hell is Larry the werewolf. There's some outlier werewolf who comes into the picture, and it really drives Snuff mad trying to figure out his part in all of this. And while he is trying to figure out the machinations, the inner workings of this game, he is also having to deal with these demonic things, just called the Things, that he and Jack the Ripper have imprisoned in various mirrors, chests, and in the attic of their house. And that is a mystery that is really never solved, and it's super, super interesting. The book is overflowing with wit, with mystery, with charm. It's oftentimes very funny. It's sometimes pretty sad, and it can also be pretty dark and twisted. The story is mostly told through the exchange of dialogue. I would say probably 80% of the book is dialogue, and I like a lot of dialogue in my books, especially when it's well written and it's snappy and it's interesting. And especially when the different characters have such different and interesting voices. And by putting us in the eyes of the animals, I think it heightens the mystery because we are somewhat limited by their animal perspective and the kinds of things that they are able to intuit, that they are able to do by instinct or by being limited by their animal form. And here's a really good example. At one point, a policeman gets killed and the body is deposited a little too close to Jack the Ripper's home for comfort. And Snuff is afraid that this body will attract the attention of other policemen. And so throughout the month, Snuff is slowly pulling the body towards a river to try to hide it. And because he's just a dog, he has to go out there and grab the cop by the scruff of his neck or by the leg of his pant, and he can slowly pull this body through the wilderness and through the debris of the yard to try to get it to this river. And it's really hard for him. He can't just pick up the body and dispose of it. And it's here where this character, Larry the werewolf, comes into play. And I think Zelazny introducing a werewolf character here is really smart because a werewolf is both a human and an animal. And so through Snuff's interactions with Larry the werewolf, we kind of get a both sides thing. We get the human perspective of Larry as the human, and then we get the animal perspective of Larry in his wolf form. So it's a really cool kind of literary device that Zelazny uses in order to allow Snuff to have this kind of window into both worlds. I really do love the mystery of the game. We are never really shown in great detail all of the ongoings. The game is never really fully explained. We can intuit, we can put the pieces of the puzzle together, and we kind of know what's going on, but we're learning about all of this through the perspective, through the point of view of this dog. And so our information of the game and what it's all about and why they need all of these things is somewhat limited, but I think it adds to that overall mystery and the kind of the weirdness of the book. And because the ritual that they are working towards, that the openers and the closers are working towards, happens on the last night of October, on the 31st, and that also happens to be the last chapter of the book, we aren't shown the aftermath. We aren't shown the repercussions of what transpired. We get nothing after the climax. There's no falling action and there's no resolution. And some people that might bother, but I really liked the way that it ended with just, okay, the ritual's over, boom, that's the end of the book, that's the end of the story. What happens next? Who knows? But I really did love A Night in the Lonesome October. I'm really hit or miss with Zelazny. I either really love him or I don't like him at all. And this is one that I think I really, really do love. This is one of my favorites. This might be maybe his best written. I get the sense that this is the novel that Neil Gaiman has always wanted to write. It reads like that. I'm actually just completely shocked that this has never been a comic book from Vertigo. It has that kind of DC Vertigo feel to it, especially that kind of early Sandman or Books of Magic, Black Orchid, that kind of stuff. It does remind me of that. And I would bet that it's really popular. The Venn diagram of the fans of all of those things is probably overlaps quite a bit. But yeah, A Night in the Lonesome October. If you have never read Roger Zelazny before and you would like an entry point, this would be one of the best. It's not breezy, but it's immensely readable. It's enjoyable. It's super entertaining. The characters are great. Snuff and Greymalk, the book spends a lot of time with them just walking around their neighborhood. You know, their world as domesticated animals is very small. It's a very limited space that they get to explore, that they get to experience in their lives. And part of their job as these familiars for these human companions is to go out and survey their limited world, the limited space that they get to exist in. And they know it very well. Snuff knows all the smells. He knows all the sights down at ground level. He can figure things out, but suddenly there are these weird things, these outlier things that are introduced to his world, and it throws him off, and he has a really hard time coming to grips with that, of his world being shifted and something not being right in it. And that's one of the most interesting mysteries in a number of interesting mysteries in Zelazny's A Night in the Lonesome October. So all right, you guys, well, I hope you enjoyed this review. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.